An updated law takes effect in China today to better protect the country's minors. The revised law includes new and improved provisions to address areas including school bullying, sexual harassment, internet safety, and failure of guardians to fulfill their legal responsibilities. The updated law aims to better safeguard children in multiple areas of society, including family, school, and the internet.
On the one hand, some people insult and slander minors on online platforms, which harms the children. On the other hand, there are also some bullying incidents that target minors taking place offline. These audio recordings and videos are uploaded to the internet, which deepens the trauma and causes more psychological damage to the children. The newly revised law on the protection of minors has improved related provisions to deal with these two angles.
China says it will introduce a third child policy to deal with the country's aging population. The CPC Central Committee's Political Bureau says the government will allow all married couples to have 3 children. And this replaces the 2-child policy introduced in 2016. Officials say efforts are needed to reduce family spending on education and to improve maternity leave and insurance systems to help couples. This decision comes after a recent census raised concerns about the rising number of people over 60. Well, let's look at some of the measures in place already to support children's education. The government provides free 9-year compulsory education for all citizens. This includes 6 years of primary education, followed by 3 years of junior secondary education. The government-funded program was written into law in 1986. And since 2011, the central government has allocated around $2.5 billion each year to improve food nutrition for students in poor areas. In many places, authorities and local organizations have launched the free lunch programs for primary pupils. Now, for some more insight, let's bring in Professor Li Ting with the School of Sociology and Population Studies at Renmin University of China. She joins us via Skype in Beijing. Professor Li, it's great to see you with us on Global Watch. I want to talk to you first about why China is taking this step to loosening once again the family planning restrictions, because it was only 5 years ago that it was changed to allowing couples to have 2 children. So, and since then, the latest census is showing still a falling birth rate. So, this latest policy, how much effect could this have?
Well, I think the new 3-child policy would have little effect to address the immediate problem of population aging and the negative growth of the total population. But the low fertility is not, because the low fertility level is not easy to reverse, and even if the fertility rate can bounce back quickly, it will only affect the population after 20 years. However, I still think it is necessary to implement the new policy, which has 2 types of impact. First, it allows those couples who want to have 3 children to realize their fertility intention. Second, it constructs a fertility-friendly atmosphere that would further encourage childbearing. Well, it cannot solve the current problem, but would have long-term effect on the future population structure. So we need patience for the policy.
Well, if you talk to the average Chinese family, they'll tell you about how the costs of raising children is rising, especially in big cities, when it comes to housing, education, childcare. So the Chinese government is promising support measures. Specifically, what kind of areas do we need to see these kind of supports in order to make this a practical policy to give incentives to people to have children?
As we can see from the government's announcement, they actually proposed a bunch of policies that may help reducing the overall cost of childbearing. For example, the government aims to provide affordable child care system, especially for children under 3 years old. I know that this project has been going on for a while. Second, the government would possibly have tends to reduce the cost of education and promote the education equity. Third, the government would possibly have new institutional arrangement, such as tax reduction on childbearing and providing housing allowance. But as I mentioned above, I don't think these measures can have immediate effect, but they help to cultivate a fertility-friendly culture, and even we cannot significantly promote the fertility level. These are the necessary public service for the government that helps promote the life satisfaction for the young people.
Professor Li, when we look at the global picture, you actually see that in more developed, economically developed countries, the fertility rate tends to be lower. Then you wonder if financial costs isn't necessarily the issue here, what could be the deeper reason for couples perhaps not wanting that many children?
Yes, you are right. We should say that no fertility is a worldwide phenomenon. Almost all the developed countries are keeping a low fertility for a while. I think the social, economic, and technology development are the underlying mechanism for the low fertility. For example, the modernization brings individualism, which means people have more freedom to choose what kind of life they want to be. They can just pursue their career success without choosing marriage and childbearing. Second, the modern society could provide sort of replacements for children. For example, the social security system we have makes the people don't need to rely on the children for their old age care. And we can see these are many apps nowadays trying to squeeze every time slot of the young people. So they don't have time to get married or have children. So I think the no fertility is a consequence of development. But of course, it's an unexpected consequence of development.
Really interesting insights. Thank you so much, Professor Li Ting with the School of Sociology and Population Studies at Renmin University of China. Really appreciate your time.